This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the bottom feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. Today I'll be joined again by Terry Arko, and we're going to talk about a really exciting video series that HASA is working on with the Bob Lowry material for residential pool care. And I think you're going to really get a lot out of this and the new series that they're working on. And I'm excited to be giving you some, breaking news here regarding this new series of videos that HASA is working on. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy coaching program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. You wanted to talk a little bit about Bob Lowry's material and what HASA is doing with the PCTI training. And for people that don't know this, Bob Lowry created a whole bunch of training material for residential pools, which I think most pool pros do residential pools out there. And then the commercial pool service professionals get the CPO certification. But most residential pool service professionals don't really have any official training out there. So you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk about this more because obviously anybody that's familiar with the Bob Lowry and the Pool Chemistry Training Institute and what they, he, along with Greg Garrett, he started out a whole thing about that was directed toward the residential pool professional, the backyard pool professional. And it was to get information, to get, teaching and training, and then actually a certification specifically for that residential pool training, and develop that educational material, which anyone who's gone through it, and as many of us know, and who have ever listened to Bob or gone to a Bob's class, Bob brought out a lot of very unique, practical, just great concepts and ideas on water chemistry. So I'm excited because we've gone through a lot of changes, obviously with Bob passing in 2020 and Greg Garrett both, and then with HASA, getting the materials and the educational materials to the PCTI. And then with, HASA acquiring Orenda, and Orenda brought just a whole plethora and wealth of chemistry education. And primarily, on the Orenda side, they had the Orenda Academy, which was basically available to everyone. You can go into the Orenda Academy, you can watch videos and little segments of videos. You can learn the 4 pillars, all these things you can learn about LSI. And so, at the time, we were doing the 6-8 hour course. It was a course that was a cost involved with PCTI, and that's what Bob had done in the past. But we looked at that and we just determined that we wanted to be able to make Bob's, knowledge, the things that he had, the practical concepts he had of water chemistry for backyard. We want to make that much more available, much more widely available. So what we did in the beginning was we did away with that pay course, that 6-hour course. And then we developed what we called Bob Lowry's Pool Chemistry for Service Pros, which is about a 2-hour presentation. And we began doing those. We began doing those virtually. We began doing those at trade shows. And basically, that class was just taking all of Bob's points, but condensing them down into very bite-sized, understandable, engageable, acceptable concepts. that anybody could grasp. And that was the idea of the 2-hour course. And so we did those. We've done those regionally. We've done them at a lot of trade shows, and we found great success in those. Those were the biggest classes we had. And everyone attending those classes, the comments we were getting at the end of the classes, people were coming up to us and they were saying, that was the most understandable, that was the greatest water chemistry course I've ever attended at a trade show. And, that means a lot. And I think, I think that was Bob's intent always in the beginning, is that Bob wanted to reach the residential pool tech, pool pro, the poolside person doing pools, and to be able to help them, to be able to give them information, that was practical, that they could use, and that would be an advantage for them. That was the whole idea. And that's the whole idea of what we're doing. Now, the really cool thing and exciting thing is we're getting ready. I am next week. I'm flying down to Southern California to actually be poolside, and I'm going to work with one of my partners, Jim Blanton, and we're going to film 14 segments of Bob Lowry's training from the Pool Chemistry for Residential Pools presentation and booklet. And so we're gonna film those. We're gonna have those ready probably in a few months. So those will go up as the Pool Chemistry Training Institute chemistry training, and anyone and everyone who goes on to the site will have access to these, to go through these 14 videos. They'll be, 5 minutes or so long each, 5-6 minutes or so each, and go through the different concepts. So it'll be about a 2-hour kind of thing, I guess. Maybe a little more than that. And then there'll be a quiz after you go through the 14, you'll take a quiz to kind of test your knowledge on what you had. And when you pass that quiz, and then you get a certification, just like how Bob used to do at the end of the day-long class, you'll get that certification. So I'm really excited that we finally got to this place. It took a long time for us to get there and a lot of organization, but we've gotten there. And so we're doing the filming next week. Then it will go into the editing stage. And I'd say probably look for that in about 3 months or so, 3-4 months from now. And I'm really excited about that. And I just want to say, the reason I'm really excited about it is for the pool professional, because we have, there's a lot of, I look at the Western Pool and Spa Show. And, way back a long time ago when the Western Pool and Spa Show started, there were maybe, 10 classes, okay? 10 education classes. You had some chemistry classes. You had some heater classes and pump classes and automatic cleaner classes. Not a whole lot. I mean, now you look at the Western show, and there's 100 plus presentations over that weekend. And you go onto social media, and how many different podcasts are there? How many different, this, that, how many different education things? Even for me, I've done, I don't know how many very different, for different organizations, for IPSA and, all sorts of different. So there's a lot of information out there that anybody has access to.
And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description.
And I feel like sometimes, there's certain personalities out there, and you're not one of them, David, but there's certain personalities out there who I feel like are maybe more pedantic, if you know what that means. These are people that are more academic. It's more academic and intellectual, and they want to talk up in the ether about water chemistry. And maybe, they just want to show how smart they are, how much they know that somebody doesn't know. And so I feel like a lot of times you go to a presentation, you listen to certain, like podcasts or education presentations, and it's just theoretical. It's theoretical academic stuff, and it's not engaging to the backyard professional pool pro. It's not something that they can put into practice. They're more trying to just figure out, what is this guy saying, or what is this person saying, and figure it out. So I'm not saying everyone is like that, but there's a lot like that, and a lot of trade show presentations tend to be, I think, over the head a lot of times. And again, I don't know if that's intentional or not intentional. Sometimes I think it's intentional because people have egos and they just want to talk about how smart they are. That's the beauty of Bob Lowry and his presentations, is that he wasn't one of those people. And Bob had a sincere desire to be very relatable, very understandable, and very helpful to the backyard pool pro. So I'm excited about doing this. I'm excited about these concepts, like the concepts of, CYA and how CYA affects disinfection, concepts of water balance, concepts of LSI, the concepts of free chlorine and the importance of free chlorine over and above combined chlorine. These are all, and just understanding water and source water. These are important things, and these are practical things. They're practical lessons that any pool pro, anybody who has the desire to learn and get better at their craft, can watch these videos. They can go through these videos at their own pace. They can gain a lot of practical information. They can just on the buffering system. That's another whole concept that Bob brought out, the buffering system, creating a buffering system in your water, and how that can make you save money, that can make you save chemicals, and that can make all of your pools more sustainable, more predictable, more manageable. So I'm excited about getting that information out there, having it available, and helping, all the pool professionals.
So it's going to be like the 4 pillars, basically. But what site is it going to go on? Is it going to be on the HASA site or Bob Lowry's old site?
Well, Bob Lowry's old site is no longer in existence.
Okay.
It will be on the HASA site.
Okay.
It will be on the education realm or the resources part of the HASA site.
Just want to clarify that, because there's a lot of old timers like me that still remember Bob Lowry's site, going there to get his apps and reading his articles. He wrote some pretty technical articles back in the day. And,
yes, and I will point out that once we get this, I'm not sure exactly what we're calling it still. It's going to be PCTI, chemistry training, something like that. So once we get the 14 videos and all that up on the HASA site, that will also be the site where we will have the technical sheets and things. All the things from Bob will be available on that site. Eventually, we will get to that. We're going to have a lot of other information and so forth on there.
Yeah, I think Bob is pleased that HASA has taken his material, and this is what he wanted to do when he partnered with HASA in the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. That was the sole purpose. And again, at the time that Bob partnered with HASA, he was already aware that, his days were limited. And that was a big part of it, was he wanted to ensure that this information didn't fall by the wayside. It didn't go away, but that it was promoted and it was continued to be presented to help out the pool pros.
Yeah, and Bob Lowry, I think, he's not counter the CPO at all. It's one of those things where residential pools are a little bit different. It's not all about, main drains and things that are commercial related, because residential pools are different.
Yes. And even the way we look at the LSI and we assimilate the LSI in residential pools is different from how it's done in commercial pools. So that's another aspect to look at, and that's something we bring to the table in these presentations.
Yeah, and it's not counter to the CPO. It's kind of more like it's a little bit different than the CPO training, right?
It's not counter in any way at all. It's only more specific, and the subjects we deal with and how we present things are much more specific to what a residential pool tech is going to deal with as opposed to a commercial operator.
Yeah, and so those that have the CPO certification can definitely glean a lot from the PCTI training.
Yes, I believe so. Absolutely. And I am a CPO instructor. So I absolutely understand that.
Yeah, well, that's great. And thank you for sharing that. And I'll definitely get this out there for the listeners so that they can prepare to get this material. Because just the other day in my group chat with my members, one of them was complaining about that this course is not available anymore. And he took it and he wanted his employees to go through it. Unfortunately, it's not available. And now with the way you're doing it, it's going to be just as available as the Orenda Four
Yes.
Pillars. And, so
Yes.
it's a great leap forward in training. And I'm excited about it too, because Bob Lowry's material is kind of what drives a lot of the things I talk about in my podcast. So his legacy, lives on in different arenas. But if people don't understand Bob Lowry's impact on the industry, this is going to carry it forward to the next generation that never actually got to meet him or hear him speak in person.
Yes, absolutely agreed. And like I said, I'm looking forward to this getting done. I'm looking forward to it going up, and I'm looking forward to it being a big resource, as you said. And I do want to point out, since you brought that up, about those folks who have gone through, the old Bob Lowry, and they have companies, and they like, man, I'd like our employees to go through something like this or whatever. That they can contact me. They can contact HASA, and we are more than happy to, that's part of my job, Jim Blanton's job, several others, is we are willing to go to your place of work, or we're willing to do virtual courses or whatever based on the Bob Lowry information as well. We can do some customized things for your company in education and with the Bob Lowrys, and we're happy to do that. So just reach out to us and let us know.
Should I give your email out here so they can contact you?
Yeah. You've got it there, I believe.
Yeah, it's Terry Arko, Terry and then ARKO at HASA.com. Pretty easy email.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely you can reach out to me for any we can do live training at your site, or we could do virtual. We can do whatever works for you, but we're happy to do that. The main thing is we don't want anybody to go without in the interim of kind of waiting for this to go up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Terry, and thank you again for coming on and spending some time here.
Thanks, David. Always a pleasure.
Of course, you can go to my website, swimmingforlearning.com, and bookmark the HASA website. HASA, their banners are on my homepage of my website. Just click on that and then star or bookmark their site. And keep an eye out there for the video series to drop in about 2 months on their site. And if you're interested in more podcasts, of course, you can listen to more from my website as well. And you can also learn more about the coaching program they offer at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.